Hey guys, it's Mike.
It's Dan.
You might not want to be a good Samaritan in China.
No, and we talk about this all the time, but you know, this story just kind of affirms what we're talking about, which is people in China, they're not good Samaritans.
Well, I mean, you can't say they're all not.
Right.
But there's a fear of being a good Samaritan.
Yeah, that's a better way of putting it. Like, inherently, I believe that everybody, we want to be good people.
Yeah.
And it's in our nature to help people who need help.
Right.
But in China, for a long, long time, that it's not just now. It stems from 50 years ago when you try to help your neighbor. Then you're basically like, oh, you want to help him? It's on you too. And now people pretty much like, we've done it. You guys all saw the story we did about the girl who was basically attacked in a hotel, and the hotel staff and bystanders are like, oh, can you guys take this somewhere else?
Yeah. Yeah. So in the US, there's a good Samaritan law that protects us because, you know, it makes sense, right? You want people to help. You don't want people to not help.
Right.
But in China, most of this stems from a very famous lawsuit case, legal case, from a long time ago. I can't remember the specifics, but what happened was elderly person, I think, fell or something like that, and a young guy helped him or her up. And then the person who fell sued the young person and said that they pushed him or something like that, to that extent. And then the judge sided with the older person saying, and this is like a famous quote now, again, so sorry, I can't give you specific quotes because I'm not a human dictionary. But the judge said to the effect of, well, if you didn't do it, why did you help him?
Right, which makes no sense. Right. It's like, what, so I can't help people now? Like, just, you know what I mean? And this guy, he's a kid. He's 17 years old, surnamed Guo.
Yeah, Guo.
And there's a picture of him right here, and basically he looks fit.
Yeah.
He's young, and so he was on a bus, and this girl was being harassed by a 30-year-old. And again, like, people in China, like, you know, girls especially, there's an epidemic of abduction, harassment. I mean, we're gonna talk about another story later on about another thing that happened on the subway. So this guy, what does he do? Any young guy would do is like, hey, he went up to the guy. He's like, do you know the girl? Yeah. The girl's like, no. And the guy even followed her off the bus and started to put his hands on her. So he tried to stop it. Yeah. The fight physically. Yeah. And if you can imagine, if you try to do that, and the guy puts up any kind of fight, there's gonna be a fight. And
he's gonna get popped.
And this kid, I mean, he might know martial arts. Like, you never know. Yeah. Or little boxing or whatever. The guy faints. This is what the story says. The guy faints. They didn't say the kid knocked him out. Yeah. But you could maybe imagine what happened. Maybe he knocked him out. Maybe the guy got overwhelmed. And then the guy basically sues Guo for injuring him. He says he's disabled. Although I don't know how true that is. Like, maybe in China you could be like, you know, people fake stuff all the time. I'm disabled.
Well, we did a whole video about people faking getting hit by cars.
Come on, like, that's a thing. That's a thing. We all know that's a thing, okay? So the crazy part is the judge is siding with the guy. And they're gonna give him 2 years plus a fine. The kid's 17 years old.
Like 2 years in jail, 17 years old, that's what, high school, you're about to go into college, maybe. In China, it doesn't always work that way. You could, a lot of people don't go to college, but still, 17 years old, you stood up for something that's right. Yeah. Especially when you're like younger, I feel like your sense of justice is a little more. If that kid was like 30-something, he might be like, you know what?
Because he's already
society's kind of messed up. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I don't know what I'm getting myself into. But he still has a strong sense of justice. Maybe saw one too many, kung fu flicks. And I was the same way. I'm like, yo, I gotta help. But I'm not knocking him. I think he did the right thing to help the girl. Yeah. I would have done the same thing.
Absolutely.
But this is the kind of crazy society that China is turned into, where more examples like this further deters good Samaritans from stepping up and helping people in crisis. Because this girl, like, who knows what would have happened if the guy followed her? Maybe he would have followed her somewhere, raped her. I don't know.
Exactly.
Killed her. We don't know.
Bride trafficking. Hello. Yeah. And this is the exact thing that makes me so mad, because, like, he did. You always look at things and you go, that could have been prevented if somebody helped. Well, this guy tried to help. Yeah. He literally prevented this girl from getting hurt, and he's gonna be jailed for it.
You know what? You know what I would do?
What would you do?
I would sue the guy for hurting my fist on his face.
You think that would work in China?
I'd be like, I'm disabled. His face hit my fist. and I'm disabled now.
And then they were like, man, but you knocked him out. Like,
No, I'll be like, no, he ran into my fist. I just stood here, and he ran into it.
I would definitely try that. And the other thing is, the girl ran away, so no one knows where the girl is.
Yeah,
So
she doesn't want to get into trouble. She's like, I don't want to get a part of this. Which is also irresponsible. He saved your butt.
Thank you. Weibo users are actually trying to help the guy find the girl. They're like, please, if you're out there, your defender is about to be thrown in jail.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. It's kind of like the girl's definitely afraid of stepping forward.
You know what they might have to do in China now? You know why every single car in China has a dash cam now? It's to kind of prevent this kind of stuff from happening.
The scammers.
Yeah, you might need like a body cam walking around just in case some guy's like, I wasn't doing anything. He just walked up and knocked me out.
Yeah. Cause like, dude, this guy totally, we don't know what happened, but this guy totally could have, maybe the boy pushed him. He could have been like, fall down, fainted, woke up and is like, yo, my arm doesn't work.
If he fainted or fake fainted, I would just left. I would just leave. Yeah. Because I'm like, you know what?
Because, and the boy actually was also kind of concerned for the guy. The boy called the cops.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, he should. Yeah, in China, it's crazy. You stand up for what's right, but you don't leave your fate to the authorities.
I mean, he's like the ultimate good guy.
Good guy, yeah.
He's like, yeah, I stopped it. I might have hurt the guy, so let me call the cops and make sure. Dude, out, get out. If you're a good Samaritan, get out.
In China, not here. Like here, definitely call the cops, whatever. But in China, where the law is often not on your side, I would have. Here's what I would have done. I would be like, hey, I would have followed him and her, and then see what happens, and just to make sure she's like kind of safe. Yeah. But if he's like in an alley, like I don't know why she would go into an alley, but girls don't think clearly in this situation. Also in a horror movie, so she might, and then he might follow her. So if I go, I'll follow him to the alley, and if something happens, I'll knock him out there.
Then run.
Then no one sees me. I'm good.
Then that's it. Yo, yeah. I mean, it's pretty elaborate and. It's like, can you pull that off, bro? Because it's like, that sounds like a action movie. Like you'd actually have to like be like, I'm gonna come in.
War. I would find a cop. Be like, yo, that guy's been like.
Yeah.
Then cops in China, they'll beat people up for no reason anyway. Exactly. So they'll be like, yeah, we'll knock them out.
Especially like if you find a Chengguan, you'll be like, psh. My gosh. So this story really irks me, and I hope that we can start seeing some kind of change. But I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let us know your thoughts on this story. What would you do in that situation? Thank you all so much for watching. See ya. Later.